Welcome to the 10th episode of Boulder Community Health's Be Well Saturdays. I'm Gina Simmering, your host, and in today's episode, we will learn about inflammation in the heart, hear the benefits of warming up and cooling down for all forms of exercise, understand what an anti-inflammatory diet really means, and get tips for maintaining momentum. And be sure to stay with us until the end for the opportunity to win an overnight stay at the beautiful Hotel Boulderado. Let's get started.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Molly Ware with Boulder Heart Cardiology. Today we are going to talk about the broad topic of inflammation and the heart. First, I would like to point out, not all inflammation is bad. Acute illness, acute injury, these are states that require healing, require the inflammatory process of your body, and are a signal to your brain that says, hey, rest and allow this process to happen. It's chronic inflammation over months to years that really can have deleterious effects on the entire body, including the cardiovascular system. For example, toxins such as chronic heavy alcohol use, cocaine and other drugs, nicotine in all forms, and certain pharmaceuticals, specific types of chemotherapy, for example, can be directly toxic to the heart muscle. Underlying autoimmune processes, for example, lupus or rheumatoid arthritis, are by nature chronic inflammatory states, and if left unchecked, can promote cardiovascular disease such as atherosclerotic plaque in the arteries of the heart or high blood pressure. And really, the major problem that we face in this country is unhealthy habits promoting inflammation, such as not exercising enough, smoking, as we already discussed, eating a diet that's very high in processed foods and a lot of added sugar that can promote high insulin levels. These are all tough for your body to deal with over time. So what's happening when we talk about inflammation and then damage to the heart and its vessels? Well, certain toxins can be directly harmful to the heart muscle, to the myocytes, meaning that the heart can weaken over time and lead to a problem called heart failure. Secondly, the heart vessels, and I have my little anatomy book here. So the vessels that run over the surface of the heart, the coronary arteries that are feeding the heart muscle themselves, they have a very special lining. In fact, all vessels in the body do, called the endothelium. And this is a kind of micro ecosystem that is very delicately balanced and has a lot to do with nourishing the vessels. So if this becomes dysfunctional or inflamed because of chronic high blood pressure or intermittent constriction and relaxation, is what happens when you smoke a cigarette, it can really disrupt the normal function of this special lining and promote plaque, coronary plaque, lipid plaque to get laid down, which can down the road lead to cardiovascular disease or cerebral vascular disease, meaning a heart attack or a stroke. I would like to say a brief bit about COVID-19 in the heart, since it has to do with inflammation. And of course, COVID is on everybody's mind right now. So it is true that any viral infection, we've also seen this with COVID, can affect the heart. We most often see this in people who are critically ill and hospitalized, and it rarely happens in patients who have minimal or no symptoms. And as we discussed before, this can be the virus attacking the heart muscle directly, and that's called myocarditis. It can be the body's immune response to the virus that ultimately hypes everything up and promotes arrhythmia, promotes blood clot formation. So it can be a very serious thing. What to do about this all in general? In terms of COVID, of course, preventing infection and transmission as much as possible, getting the vaccine when it is your turn to get the vaccine, and certainly seeking help from your healthcare provider if you've had an infection, including COVID, and you just don't feel like you're getting better. I would also caution people to take it very, very easy when they are returning to physical activity after any viral infection or any illness. We certainly want you to exercise, but we want you to take it very slow and gradually as you're recovering from an acute illness. And then in terms of the more chronic processes that we talked about a few minutes ago, control what you can. Quit smoking, try to follow a heart-healthy diet, and exercise regularly. And these are really the mainstays of reducing inflammation in the body. Working with your healthcare provider to talk about whether certain medications are needed, such as statin therapy or controlling autoimmune processes, is also a really important piece here. So thanks for listening, and be well.
I am Lilly Johnson, the head coach and owner of the Running Lilly Coaching. Today, I am going to talk about the importance and benefits of the warm-up and cool-down. Warming up will help you walk more efficient, run faster, cycling farther, and feeling better practicing any other sports. You can increase body and muscle temperature, producing mild sweating, but generally don't leave you fatigued. The warm-up also helps minimize stress on your heart. A proper warm-up can help you to prevent injury and improve your performance. Being more flexible can make it easier to move and exercise correctly. Train fitness and develop speed, strength, coordination, flexibility, and endurance, preparing your mind for the workout ahead. The purpose of cool down is to return your heart rate close to resting. Stopping quickly without a cool down can result in lightheadedness, dizziness, and or fainting. Bring the person back to homeostasis, where you can maintain the internal stability in the organism to regulate your blood oxygen, core body temperature, and arterial blood pressure. Allows for a gradual recovery of the pre-exercise heart rate and blood pressure. A good cool down helps prevent muscle cramps and dizziness while gradually slowing your breathing and heart rate. Reduces muscle stiffness and soreness after exercise. An effective cool down incorporates stretching to relax and let muscles through your body and improve your range of motion. To get most out of these exercises, hold each stretch for 10 to 30 seconds. The longer that you can hold a stretch, the better for improving your flexibility. The most important is to be kind and listen to your body.
Hi, my name is Michelle MacDonald. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist practicing in Boulder. I offer personalized nutritional counseling. Today's topic is an anti-inflammatory diet. Some background first. Chronic inflammation means there are active inflammatory compounds inside your body. They may remain there for months or years and eventually lead to cancer, heart disease, dementia, diabetes, and other diseases we don't want. You may have chronic inflammation without noticing symptoms of it. Excess weight and poor diet may contribute. An anti-inflammatory diet is a way of eating that counteracts this chronic low-grade inflammation to prevent disease, put it into remission, or minimize its damage. And you should feel better, healthier, and more energetic too. So to get started, first, lose weight if you are overweight. much easier said than done. However, body fat, especially the fat cells around your waist, are metabolically active. They may produce and release inflammatory compounds inside your body. So if you are overweight, the best anti-inflammatory diet for you may just be whatever diet you can stick to that helps you lose weight and keep it off. Second, limit processed foods. These are industrially made, contain many ingredients including additives, and come in a bag, box, or can. Think breakfast cereal, juice, white flour bagels, breads, muffins, pasta, crackers, white rice, cookies. Processed foods are high in rapidly absorbed simple sugars and refined carbohydrates that increase your blood sugar and insulin levels, which may trigger inflammation when chronically elevated. Also, eat less bacon, hot dogs, deli meat, sausage, and other salted, cured, and smoked meats. These foods are high in preservatives, sodium, and other compounds that are created during the processing itself that may increase inflammation. Rather than thinking about what you're giving up, think about what you're getting. More years to your life and life to your years. So what should you eat? The Harvard Medical School identifies 3 best anti-inflammatory diets as the Mediterranean diet, the DASH diet, and Dr. Weil's anti-inflammatory diet, all of which share the Mediterranean style pattern in common. Concentrate more on the pattern of foods you eat rather than on any specific single food. 3 important features of this healthy Mediterranean style dietary pattern are: number 1, an abundance of fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices. Research does mention some of the most anti-inflammatory foods. Berries and citrus top the best fruits list. Cruciferous vegetables, onions, and tomatoes comprise the best veggies list. Of all of the best herbs and spices, I love cinnamon and nutmeg on oatmeal and yogurt, rosemary on roasted vegetables, fresh dill on eggs, fish, and salad greens, and garlic in pretty much everything. Fresh ginger and curry, which includes turmeric, are great spices for my curry lentil soup, an easy favorite anti-inflammatory recipe that you'll find at the link below. Number 2, nuts and seeds, which are staples on the Mediterranean diet. Some are more beneficial than others. I really love hemp seeds, ground flax seeds, and walnuts in my oatmeal, and I snack on unsalted almonds, Brazil nuts, and cashews almost every day. Number 3, healthy fats are important. I love salmon and rainbow trout as fish that are high in omega-3 fatty acids and low in mercury, avocados, and first cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil. So many of these, and most plant foods, are high in phytochemicals. These are plant compounds that are vital to the plant and are also active within our bodies. They are associated with decreased levels of inflammatory markers in our blood, like lower levels of C-reactive protein and cytokines, for example. Plant-based foods also promote a healthy gut microbiome. They support the growth of good gut bacteria, which may release anti-inflammatory chemicals. So bottom line, maintain a healthy weight and enjoy super flavorful, colorful, mostly plant-based, minimally processed foods to lower your risk of chronic inflammation. Yes, you can eat your way out of chronic disease one delicious bite at a time, and I'm here to help you do just that. Join me on Instagram for more healthy tips and recipes, and thanks for listening.
Hi, my name is Danny Conroy. Last time I spoke with you about change at 2 degrees at a time. And I'm hoping that since the last video, people have been practicing that and seeing that we actually can make incredible amounts of change just in small increments each day. And so today we're going to talk about momentum and how we continue to not just move at 2% or 2 degrees each day, but how we sustain that over a period of time. Because if you're like me, when you start a new behavior change, you're kind of excited and you start to feel the gratification of that. A couple days of doing something different feels really good. And then you get to like 3-4 days and then maybe some people around you are saying, hey, I'm really proud of you, keep it up, this is great. But what happens over time is that new behavior change doesn't really feel like new behavior change. And so we don't get as gratified. And so we have to really simulate that for ourselves. So the biggest thing I want to say about momentum is just keep moving. That's momentum in a nutshell, right? That we continue moving, we continue with our goal. We don't beat ourselves up if we fall slightly short. We just absolutely commit to continuing to move forward. The other piece that I feel like is really important for me and what has worked well with others that I've worked with is finding ways to reward yourself and to keep in mind that this has been going. For some, that might mean checking a day on a calendar. Like I've been doing this behavior change today and yesterday, and it goes on. Because what happens is then we kind of have something to lose. We have this momentum behind us. We have ongoing change. We're starting to feel better. And we want to really recognize it. We want to recognize it to ourselves, to give ourselves credit for it. And we want to be able to share it with others as much as possible in order to maintain that momentum. The third thing I want to talk about is if you're struggling to maintain that momentum and you're feeling like it's starting to, it's just not new anymore and I'm having a hard time with this behavior change, it's just I want to go back to my old ways, I strongly recommend talking with somebody about that. Certainly if you have a therapist, that's a great person to talk to about that. But a trusted advisor, a close person in your life will often be able to reflect back to you, some of the motivation that you might be lacking in yourself, and the connection that happens when I share this information with another person helps hold me accountable, right? And in the work I do, we like to say that accountability is love. So if we hold ourselves accountable, we're actually loving ourselves and we're taking good care of ourselves. And the people who love us most are more than willing to help us stay accountable if that's something that we ask them to do. So give it a try. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. And as a quick follow-up to the topic of maintaining momentum, I wanted to share an experience that I had recently being part of a virtual challenge. I had never done a virtual challenge before. This was a free Walking the Grand Canyon challenge. And I put together a group there were 5 of us. We were from different athletic backgrounds. And the goal was together to get in a mile a day. I will say it was so much fun. We ended up doing more than a mile a day because we became a little competitive with each other, but not really. It was more about teamwork and cheering each other on and celebrating our successes. So I highly recommend virtual challenges until we are able to gather again. It's a great way to maintain that momentum. And now for the opportunity to win an overnight stay at the beautiful historic Hotel Boulderado. Be the first person to email me the answer to this question and you're the winner. So here goes. What dietary pattern is common to the best anti-inflammatory diets? Send me your answer. And until next time, everyone, stay healthy and be well.